Isaac Cole had just finished a repair job when he heard a faint cough. On the stone steps of an upscale building sat a frail little girl, clutching a worn teddy bear. A hospital band circled her wrist. "Carry me upstairs," she whispered, "and I'll tell you a secret." She was so light in his arms it startled him. Halfway up, she rested her head on his shoulder. "My mom is lonely. Can you take care of her when I'm gone?" At the door, her mother, Diane, took her with guarded thanks. The next morning, Isaac saw them again. Leah slipped from her mother's grasp and took Isaac's hand. "I haven't told you the whole secret," she said. Before leaving for the hospital, she leaned close. "Mommy works too much. She doesn't laugh anymore. I just want her to be happy." Isaac gave her a small heart-shaped sticker. "For brave girls only," he said. As the car pulled away, Leah pressed her hand over the sticker like it was treasure, and Diane couldn't shake the feeling this mechanic was more than just a passing stranger. Diane's work call clashed with Leah's hospital appointment. Isaac, quiet, dependable, offered to take her. When Diane arrived later, she found them laughing together in the waiting room. It was the first time in weeks her daughter had smiled without effort. A few days later, she came home to a small toolkit at her door with a note. "In case something breaks." Isaac only smiled when she thanked him. Then came the storm. Rain pounded the city. Leah lay flushed, struggling to breathe. The ambulance would take 40 minutes, too long. With shaking hands, Diane texted Isaac, "Please help." 7 minutes later, he was at her door, soaked through. Without hesitation, he wrapped Leah in a blanket and carried her to his truck, headlights cutting through the flood. At the hospital, Diane sat shivering in the waiting room until Isaac draped his wet jacket over her shoulders. When the nurse finally returned, her voice was steady. "She's stable now. The fever's down." Diane's relief came like air after drowning, and she realized she was no longer facing it alone. The night after the storm, Diane brought coffee and pastries to the garage, a thank you that was more than gratitude. In Isaac's small office, her eyes caught a framed photo of a smiling girl with dark curls. "My sister, Emily," he said quietly. "Leukemia. She was 10. His voice broke. "I wasn't there when she got worse. I've never forgiven myself." Diane understood then he helped Leah not because of her, but for her. From a drawer, he took out a worn copy of The Little Prince. It was Emily's favorite. Maybe it can make Leah's nights easier. That evening, Leah hugged the book to her chest. "It feels warm," she whispered. Days later, Dr. Patel's voice broke through Diane's world. Rapid progression, urgent bone marrow transplant, time critical. She left the hospital with city lights blurring through tears she'd held back inside. While Diane moved through the days in a haze, Isaac was quietly fighting the clock, searching donor registries, calling nurses, emailing strangers, and reaching out to anyone who might hold the match that could save Leah. Isaac never told Diane how many late nights he spent chasing donor leads. To her, he was just keeping busy. One afternoon, he found Leah in the lobby. She whispered, "I need a new part from someone else's blood. If you take care of Mommy, I won't be scared." Isaac promised she wouldn't face this alone. Neither would her mother. At dawn, the call came. "We found a match." Hours later, Leah was in surgery. Diane waited, heart hammering, until the surgeon said, "It went well." Relief flooded her, but Isaac was suddenly gone. 4 days later, she found him at the garage, his arm in a sling. Realization hit. "It was you." He only shrugged. "It wasn't about me. It was about giving her a chance." When Leah woke, she squeezed her mother's hand. "See? Now you have both of us." And for the first time in weeks, the fear in Diane's heart began to let go. A month after the transplant, the apartment was alive with laughter, balloons swaying above the birthday cake. Leah, glowing in a pink starry dress, spotted Isaac at the door and ran to him. "This is the man I told you about, Mommy. The one who can take care of you." The room fell silent. Diane knelt, brushing a curl from her daughter's forehead. "Yes, sweetheart. I know." Her eyes met Isaac's. "Thank you, not just for saving her life, but for giving us hope. Later, on the balcony, the city lights glittered beneath them. Leia climbed between them, looping her arms around both waists. "See? We fit." And in that quiet moment, Diane knew what began with a tired little girl on a staircase had become a story of second chances and love that healed more than one heart. Isaac had gained a family, Diane had found a partner, and Leia, well, Leia got her wish.